beloveds. It's always so yummy when I get this beautiful inspiration of spirit come through me, where there's such a potent message that is so in alignment with everyone in the collective. And so that there is a piece of information here for anyone who chooses to see and receive and activate these inner aspects of themselves, and to acknowledge that we are all one. So I will slowly wait for a few individuals to arrive on and to welcome their energy into this space. And take some breaths in the meantime. More. Ora ya kore yane. If you have not heard this dialect come through from me, this is the energy of the purified consciousness of Isis. It's an ancient Egyptian dialect. It is the frequency of the Kundalini codes and the earth, the Pleiades, Sirius, Lyra, and and holds the original expression of the dragon consciousness as well. So these dialects are absolutely beautiful gifts of remembrance. And specifically, we are communicating and speaking into the purity of Isis. And this is not just for the women. This is not just for a woman. I'm speaking into why magic is the new way, and why magic and the remembrance of magic is currently very alive, very, very alive in our collective consciousness at the moment. And so, being that the belief systems of whether or not we believe in magic, whether or not we're allowing magic in our life, whether or not we're trying to prove magic to be true, there is currently a very large aspect of our individual consciousness that is initiating us and activating us and gifting us exactly the contrasting experiences in our human reality to say, maybe magic is possible. How much magic do I hold? What do I hold as a capacity and an ability? And your human experience is going to be sharing these opportunities, right? They're opportunities to go far out. Everything that I was told, or even still sometimes believe, is a distortion of mind. And that I really am an infinite being of magic and capability. And I have, beyond my measure, an ability with frequency, an ability with my inner being, with God, source, creator energy. So this time is the reason that this magic is really alive, is because we're clearing the reptilian consciousness. We're releasing the logic, the hold, the fight, fright, freeze, the control, the deceit of mind, of our human brain, and we're starting to weave the pineal gland into the part of the reptilian brain. And so the threads of these pathways in the brain are starting to work so that the part of the logical brain can start to work with the intuition, a little bit like the possum, right? The possum becomes something that my mentor is going to giggle if he sees this, right? So the possum is a beautiful symbology of playing with exactly logic and intuition together in union, of the masculine and the feminine, to allow for a way of being to be perceived in a different expression. The possum, when there is a danger, they intuitively feel that and they play dead, right? They play possum. And it is their survival mechanism. They don't freeze, but they allow their logical mind to create this experience of safety. And they use a balance of both the masculine and feminine. Now, over the last couple of weeks that I have been guided to spirit to do land work over the full moon and the releasing and bringing through of new consciousness and the collective mission that has been accelerated beyond my capacity to express in word. What has come through is the importance to speak into why magic is so important to remember. Why to allow ourselves to see the possibility beyond the human representation. And it is my desire to activate every single possible being into the magic that they hold within. And now the purity of Isis is that it's an initiation temple, 333 days into the activation of the remembrance, the ancestral memory, the processes of how to move through time and space, the processes of how to realign the light body, the plasma body, to activate DNA, to learn how to code yourself with information so that you can relinquish the control of the human experience, how to access trauma, how to rearrange matter into a new form, how to shapeshift, how to telepathically communicate with others, with yourself, with higher selves, to work in the spirit realms. It is a full foundational program that is guiding individuals back into themselves. And why I'm feeling really called to speak into this now is because this kind of mystery school is letting go of the human ideas that things are impossible. Letting go of how the human sees the world. Letting go of how do I problem solve. Now, over this couple of weeks, there's been many, many moments of thinking outside how a human would perceive something. I'll give you one example that was really, really powerful is I was out camping with my beloved and we actually had come back and they'd started back burning all of these cane fields behind where we were camping. And so there was like smoke billowing in, there was all this smoke and not great on the lungs, not great for us to like sit and have our cacao and connect in, being in this immense amount of smoke. Now, my instant intuitive guidance was to go, oh, maybe I need to tune in and see if we relocate our camp spot, right? That's my intuitive guidance was like, maybe it's not in alignment with us to continue to stay here. And his amazing intuitive guidance was, or we could create a wind tunnel and we could channel the energy of the smoke so that it's not affecting our camp and play with our energy and see what we can create in regards to playing with the elements. And I was like, oh, fuck yes, that is exactly what I want to do. That was like inspiration for me. I was like, no, people don't say things like this to me. And it was so exciting because that is possible, right? We have the ability to bend elements. We have the ability to create experiences internally, externally, way beyond what we perceive with mind. But it takes a moment of thought, a moment of receivership to go, or we could try this. What if this was possible? What if we gave this a try? So here we are, two beings, literally like gaining energy up, pulling energy up from the inner earth and starting to create a portal and moving the smoke out of our campground, channeling it back in to where the burn off was and creating a wind tunnel. And in, I think it was about 15 minutes, we had cleared all of the smoke from where we were and created the wind to go and to push the energy in alignment with where the fire was so that it was contained. And that is not a normal human expression of how do I deal with a problem? How do I work with this? Now, these are just one of the ways that is continually coming up into my experience. This absolute gratitude I have for every single one of the beings in my life is at a point where they mirror this level of magic back to me, so that when we come together, it's not just one individual perspective going, let's think outside of the box and let's use our remembrance, our medicine, our abilities to provide a new way. It's multiple beings that are going, I know that everything that is in our current reality is outdated. I know that we are completely limited by everything in our experience. We're told that if we're sick, we need to go and even to the point where if we're sick, it's like, oh, well, you need to rest. You need to make sure you look after your health. You need to ensure you're doing X, Y, and Z. That's actually not even true, right? If we really look at if I'm sick, I created that sickness. What if I actually just looked at the vibrational frequency that was sitting within my being and used the magic to see why I was sick? Why did I create sickness within me? What is really manifested? Because every single thing that we create in our experience, everything, you're creating this experience with me right now, is a manifestation of something internally that wants to be invited out. It wants to be remembered. It wants to be witnessed. It wants to be cultivated in a way that allows for your being to expand, for your bandwidth of your mind to expand, for you to see that there are ways to lead your life in a different form of what has been expressed to you. You are desiring that at such a deep level. It's your soul. Your soul wants this. Your soul wants to know who you are. Your soul wants to know why you're on this planet. Your soul wants to remember its medicine. Your soul wants to lead the new earth. And your soul and your higher self will create exactly the experiences to trigger you into activating and cultivating more of that medicine and that magic. Now, the purity of Isis is one of those ways of allowing a new way through life to be presented. And I feel honored once again, as I've been gifted another experience that it has allowed me to initiate more and more magic as possibility into the life of those around me. And I'm constantly gifted this because that's how I live my life. I listen to spirit. So spirit will guide me into certain relationships, certain friendships, certain experiences in life where there's always these little whispers to say, how do you look at this differently? How do you provide? How do you be the magic? How can you allow that to come through you and open the space for something to be birthed that was not the way the human realized the birthing would be. And some of these examples, some of these examples are, the other day I had someone ask me, where I get my lip fillers done. And I giggled and I said, I actually don't get lip fillers. And I haven't for over 3 years. And I actually speak to my face. I speak to my face. I put energy into my face. I ask my face to take on its higher self-expression. I ask for chi and the elixir of life. I code my face with collagen. I ask for vitamin E, aloe vera. I ask for my being to receive the vitamins, the minerals. I speak into it. I send energy into it. I imagine, or I visualize, the aspects of my body reconstructing and changing form so that it is supportive to my energy, but to also my physicality. And this is not from a place of, what do you call that? Appearances, or from a place of a distorted lens around beauty, because I have no attachment to beauty. I have no attachment to how I am perceived in that form. I honor my temple. I'm grateful for my temple. I want to gift my temple what it desires to be. And when we start to learn how to communicate with our molecules will tell us what it needs. So then you're starting to look at health, beauty, exercise, and all of these ideas of the human reality in a different form. And this is fascinating, right? I was running down I was running down from a hike a couple of weeks ago, and I was like running down, and I was like, oh my God, I love exercise. I just love exercise. I love the way I feel. I love how my vibration is shifting. I love the serotonin, the dopamine. I love the exhilaration, the inspiration, movement, right? Movement allows for downloads. The more that you move, the more downloading information comes through, because you're actually not resisting the flow of source to come through you. And so when you're moving, and exercise is one of those powerful ones, is your mind stops resisting, it stops controlling, space opens. It's a level of free flow channel. Then you can receive information, inspiration. I used to, every single time I would exercise, I would get like downloads of like creating things, and I'd be like, whoa, and I'd get super inspired. It was like my if I felt like I'd lacked inspiration in creation, then I would go and exercise, because it opened that space. Now I live in flow. I don't need to do that practice for that, because I allow inspiration to be. It has become that of which I am in every moment. And the funny thing about this was, it still allowed me to download a deeper sense of receivership. So it's like, yes, I don't need to exercise, but I can also exercise to receive those downloads, because it's giving me a broader or a different form of perspective of receivership. And we're always fine tuning. We're always allowing that resonance to become more finely connected to our source expression. And so as I was running down this hill in this moment of, oh, I love exercise and what it provides for me, Spirit goes, yeah, okay. If this was hilarious, if you could download the serotonin, if you could ensure that you were inspired and in flow, and that you were in a level of fitness, and your body was the way that it feels when you exercise, and you received everything you do from exercise, would you Would you still hike the mountain? Or if you could fly, would you fly? And I was like, I can't believe you're even asking me this question. It was like, one, yes, I believe that we will have the ability because there already are ascended masters that can levitate, that there is a possibility of levitation and flying, that there is, and it's not about the flying. It was more about what would you choose? What would you choose if you knew that you had infinite potential? Would you use your ability with mind, frequency, and information of how to use these technologies to create a new way by, yeah, maybe I'll just like actually download my body so that on the days that I start to make myself feel guilty, shameful, or wrong for the fact that I haven't been able to go for a hike and that my energy levels are not the way that they would be if I was having a hike, and the shame that I'm having because I'm not honoring my body. What if I let go of the shame story and release that completely and started to use this idea that spirit tweaks, right, of frequency, magic, and information? What if I really started to know, okay, when there is something in my life that is not in alignment with what I truly desire, how else can I receive that? What would be possible if I let go of the idea that if there's conflict in my experience, that I have to try and meet this human being in the conflict and try and find a way through conflict resolution? Or because I'm an infinite being with infinite knowing and I have the potential within, what if I sat in meditation and I actually asked to talk to their higher self and say, why are we having conflict? Can you please share and explain to me what's really going on? What energetic distortions are taking place? What karmic ties? What belief systems? What is there here that I'm not aware of, that I'm trying to figure out from my human interpretation? Because when we let go of this and trying to figure things out from the mind, and we actually sit and we go, what is here that I'm unaware of? What you just asking that question, what's here, or what what is the awareness here that I'm not getting? If I knew everything, if I knew I was a unique expression of God source creator that was connected to the infinite knowing of all of life, and I am in divine union with myself and all things all of the time, if I knew that, even just for a moment, that I had a belief that I am all things, and held on to that, and if I was like, okay, for shits and gigs, if I know that I am that, if I know that I am the I am presence and that I am universal consciousness, what would I know if I closed my eyes and I tuned in and I was like, this is giving me a little bit of suffering. So what is the awareness here that if I knew all things would be the first step for me to find more ease, clarity, and spaciousness in my life? What would my inner being, my source connection tell me? And it's one step at a time, right? It's one moment by moment awareness. It's like, okay, in this moment, what is here to be aware of? And all right, so when I ask myself that, it's like, in this moment, what is there here to be aware of? I feel like I just should do it live. I was going to use a past reference, and it's like, there's no time but the present. Okay, so what is there to be aware of? There is an awareness that my heart chakra is going through its crystalline realignment, and so there is an expansion in my energy field that is causing some energetic fluctuations and inability to stay grounded and anchored, and that there are some belief systems that are preventing me to grounding this frequency into my body based on the feeling that I am accelerating faster than I can keep up with, right? So that is something that I just became aware of because I asked. Now, there is also okay, who's in my field that's trying to communicate with me at the moment? Like, who's in my field that's trying to communicate with me? Which is really fascinating because my sister's actually online. So her higher self is like, yeah, I actually have some things that I'd like to say. Can we have a conversation? And I can feel my sister's higher self in my field wanting to speak into some of the mm, energies that are moving through her experience, in which I know I can support in a level of spirit. I know that there are different different manifestations taking place without going into any stories of anyone else's experience, because it's not my story to tell, that there are pieces that are playing out in her human experience that I can assist with. And her higher self is saying, can you please help? And so I'm aware of that now, that that is something that is being asked and called forth for me. And I would not have been aware of that had I have not tuned in to what is here for me. I can also feel that there is an awareness for me in relation to the next steps forward on my journey. Now, this collectively, we have just gone through another realignment. And so there's new paths forward. There is a new opportunity. What was here? What was there before is looking slightly different once again, because more and more people are choosing, more and more people are evolving. You're either meeting different choice points and you're accelerating your growth, or you may be getting a little confused. And this confusion energy is causing a little bit of stagnation. And the confusion is causing the tethering in the heart and in the mind. And so the reference to the possum, instead of just being in the logic and intuition together in that divine union of flow of cosmic energy and creation, it's being either there's this tethering that takes place where I'm like, I'm in my higher self and my heart. Oh, I'm in my fear and my control. I'm in my higher self. Oh, I'm in fear and control. And this anxiety that's coming up. And there is a lot of panic at the moment. And it's all here to show you that there is an opportunity for deepening in magic, deepening intuition, deepening with your soul, connecting more with what is available for you. But the only way for us to actually open ourselves to what is available in these times is to ask. To tune in and to ask, well, what is here? If I let go of how I've been told to live life, if I let go of the idea that to be healthy I have to do X, Y, and Z, if I let go of the idea that to have a healthy relationship I need to be this to someone else, if I let go of this is how life is, and decided to just go, yeah, well, that doesn't work for me anymore. I know that that's how I did do life, and it did serve me, and it provided me safety. It kept me alive. It's got me to this point. But at this point, I think that I'm just going to actually throw this away and look at what's really available. And that magic is the Autoria Candiana. That magic and that possibility means that anything, like anything, in your current experience is changeable because you create your reality. anything that is coming up as a contrast, anything that is causing you pain, anything that is hurting you, anything that is fearful. And so recently I had a sister in my field create an experience that was not something that was desired at this point in her life. And I have spoken about this in the past. And I feel like this is a beautiful reference for the ability we have to create our own life and to look past what we've been told. I wrote a post a couple of months ago about energetic abortion, or deconstructing a creation that is not in alignment with what was truly desired. Now, in both of these situations with these sisters, when we looked at why the pregnancy was created, it had nothing to do with actually wanting to create a baby. It had nothing to do with wanting that at a soul level, or that there was a soul that was ready to come through. It was a creation that held energetic signatures, belief systems, and ideas to gift an opportunity to see what was really at play in the life experience, right? So there was different belief systems in different fields for both of these individuals. And when you look at the core reason as to why that's been created, and you know why you've created it. So one was because the core belief was around innocence and wanting to have pure expression of creation, creative expression. She desired to have this innocent, pure, creative, childlike, playful expression. And so she created that energy in her body, just in a way that was not what she truly desired. And when she was looking and layering down into these belief systems as what was really there, there was also entrapment energy. She wanted to entrap this male that she'd connected with into her life as this, like, oh, well, there was a belief that if I hold on to this, then he will stay. And it's a way of controlling. It's a way of dictatorship. It's a way of not allowing flow. It's a way of not trusting your own expression. It's a way of shadow aspects of seductress playing out, or whatever aspects. And so when you see those things about yourself, when you see why you're creating what you're creating, and you look at it from truth and really acknowledging, yeah, okay, that's actually not true for me. Yes, I have created it based on my belief systems, but when I really sit with what I've seen about myself, that's not my truth. I don't desire to create that. And when you can clear those beliefs, when you can see them, awareness creates change. When you see something, you have an option. You have an option to go, this doesn't work for me, I'm giving it up. I'm surrendering it. I'm releasing it. I no longer choose to be controlled by this. I no longer choose to have my anxiety. I no longer choose to suppress my expression, that I create experiences that are inviting these opportunities to initiate me further into my expression. What if I just chose self-expression? What if I just chose play? What if I allowed myself to commit to that level of creativity within my being, within my sexual expression, that I wasn't playing these sexual experiences and creation energy out in physical form, creating things that are not true for me? Because when you look at those beliefs, when you look at those underlying currents and those core woundings that are creating it, you go, yeah, no, I'm choosing something else. And so you can deconstruct it. You are able to change the matter, the atoms and the molecules that hold the belief, because frequency, a belief, a thought is energy, frequency, vibration, it's consciousness. When you see the consciousness that has become a solid foundational expression, this is shape-shifting energy, right? When you see it, matter can then be deconstructed and take new form. Energy source cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. This is all quantum science. physics? Quantum physics. Right? It's how the universe and everything within the universe is constructed and works. It's all you have to do is see that magic is frequency and vibration. I believe that was Einstein, right? It's like it's all within all of the things that you've ever heard and listened to. It's so simple and yet so complicated because our brain likes to complicate everything. But if you can go, I create my reality. I know that I create my reality. I know that everything in my life is a mirror. I know that you and me are not separate. I know that I have infinite potential. And I know that if I stop for a moment and listen, that all of these other things that I just identified will show me the way. Okay, right here, I'm creating my reality. I'm creating the reality that I am magnetizing through my vibrational resonance, every single one of you that is on this call. I know that any future receivers of this message are resonating at the frequency of remembrance that I'm sharing in this moment because they have something that they're desiring from their inner being to be mirrored back to them to go, oh, I really needed to hear that message. Oh, I really needed that reminder. Oh, she felt like she was talking to me. Everything you said in that post, I thought you were channeling my being, right? This is because we are mirrors to each other. We are not separate. We are all moving through the exact same thing at the exact same time through a different lens of perspective. That if I stop for a moment and I tune in, and I invite you all to do this right now, to tune in, to breathe into your heart, to come into the infinite being that you are, the 0 point of consciousness that sits within your heart space, to connect in and to ask yourself in the knowing that I am an all-knowing, infinite, creator being, what would I become aware of if I allowed myself to receive it? What would I become aware of if I allowed myself to receive it? What would you become aware of? What would you know? What would you know that you haven't allowed yourself to receive? What would you become so embodied in if you allowed yourself to be it? And just allow yourself to receive your inner guidance. Allow yourself to receive the magic that you are. These are initiations. Initiations are how we are coming into remembrance. The initiations are our life experience at the moment because we do not have enough mystery schools. We do not have enough ascended masters. We do not have enough beings that are showing up to guide the way in a new form. We are remembering together, and our life is our initiation. Our life is guiding us into magic. And as we are coming into the unified, Christed, masculine and feminine divine expressions of God that we are able to build these foundational practices. I am grateful that I have come to this point in my life. I am grateful that I can create a foundation of teachings, processes, and guide other individuals into their medicine and their magic so that they can be inspired. So the next time that they create something in their reality, they don't go into freak out. They don't go into a place of disempowering themselves. They don't give up their abilities because their mind has told them that something else is how they have to deal with the situation. But to instead come into their knowing and their connection with source and be excited and curious to see a new way forward. And that is what I am super excited to bring forth. is spaces and experiences with the amazing individuals that are in my life that mirror this back to me and that are providing foundational community for this to come forth. And so if you are in Australia, there is going to be the Unity Tour, which is the unification code, which I hold with my beloved Aaron Townsend, which goes by the name of Ishtar Ragul. And he is an amazing, amazing, amazing being that holds the codes and the frequencies of the descension of Source, right? So we are not to ascend or to descend, but to bring those into unification together. The the upper realms and the lower realms are all Source Creator, and as necessary as each other to master matter and to ground into the earth and to solidify wisdom and to become the embodiment of spirit. That all requires a level of dissension. And so the unification code is a frequency of the divine feminine and the divine masculine that have different spirit molecules and different source molecules that are coming together to create this unification of consciousness within the heart space that allows for divine union. So that is a experience that will be moving through the coast. So if that's a 3-hour deep immersion and rebirth into the authentic self. And it is a very potent and powerful experience to receive, to become unified, to experience the unification code is something that has taken me on my own journey many, 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 many countless hours to get to this point to receivership of this purified consciousness and to be able to gift that with another human being to receive in a short period of time is just an absolute honor, because what has I've been trained and being mastered into within my own experience, what has taken me, say, 6 months to master, I can gift somebody in a 2-hour experience. This is how quantum energy works. And this is what everyone is being asked to do, is the initiations that are taking place in your human experience are gifting you the medicine, the technology, the remembrance, the information, so that what has taken time through trial and error can be streamlined in a process of energy through knowing the Holy Trinity and through knowing how the mind works, knowing how the vessel works, and knowing what the spirit's blueprints are, so that you can align them and you can rewire and gift someone profound insight and also instantaneously integrate that into their being. So that is their new way. And that is powerful. And that is worth every single contrasting experience that I have ever experienced. So, for the individuals that are feeling the purity of Isis and are wanting to become the medicine of life, and are desiring to be the embodiment of spirit, to be the conduit of source, to walk in that truth, that fullness of knowing of who one is, to let go of how the human identity perceives the world and to step out of the human identity and to walk the path of spirit, of the soul, then feel through whether or not this is something that you are ready for. Has your soul already chosen it? Is it just your human mind that's catching up? Because that's what tends to happen, is your spirit, your soul, you're knowing. You know exactly what is for you in every moment. It's here. You can feel it. And you don't need to justify why something is for you. You don't need to justify why you're choosing something. You just have to go, oh, I know this is for me. Okay, Spirit says turn left, turn left. Spirit says go to this tree and touch this tree. I'd touch this tree. Spirit says go to this event. You don't know why you're going to this event because it doesn't actually make logical sense to you because it's not something that you would normally do. AKA, I went to a Halloween horror show. I was like, why would I do that? Like, why are you sending me here? Because my nervous system, I had to rewire a lot of things to get to a point where I didn't jump when somebody would walk behind me. Why am I going back into an experience where you're going to take me into a terror horror show? Spirit tells me to go, I go. Why I'm going there, I don't know until I'm there. And then very quickly, I know why. Very quickly, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, that's why I'm here. That makes sense. And it's so profound because you listen. You're like, okay, I'm in a time warp, and suddenly I'm getting off the freeway here, and I'm not sure why I'm getting off the freeway, and I'm just going to keep following where I'm going, and then all of a sudden you are guided into finding the information, the shop, the person, the opportunity that you have been knowing is on its way. You're so aligned with spirit that you know that everything is happening at exactly the right time for exactly the right experience, wisdom, and remembrance, and that your soul family, your soul tribe, that the support for your mission, that the funding, that the clients, that the relationship is all coming because you start to let go of the control structure of the mind and you start to listen. And if you're ready to listen, you're ready to be that flowful being in life, then I invite you to make contact with me in relation to the purity of Isis and this intensive remembrance journey into self. I love you. Have an amazing, amazing Tuesday. Smile. Be happy. Or not. It's your choice. Choose whatever energy resonates to your being right now. And don't shame it. Mwah. I love you.